Everyone. Happy Thursday. Today is my Thursday thoughts. When I pick my Thursday thought topics, I try to do it based on a lot of the questions that come through my clients, my one on one and my group clients, and my membership site only clients. And it's often around pricing your services. Now, I coach interior designers, I coach coaches and consultants as well. And it is always the most difficult thing. And honestly, for me too, sometimes over the years, the pricing is always the hardest, which is why I always have a coach or a strategist working with me to help me figure that stuff out. But for you guys, working as solopreneurs, as many of you are, or not having a large staff to bounce things off of, it can be really hard to figure out how to price yourself. Can any of you relate to this? How to price your services. And it always starts with me digging down on certain things for people. And yes, it's knowing your numbers, right? And I always say, do you know how many hours things take you? Do you have a list of all the things that you should be considering for that job, all the things you're going to be responsible for, a rough estimate on how long things are going to take you? And most creatives, most service-based entrepreneurs, like you guys listening, they hate tracking their hours. And I get it. It's not fun to track your hours, but it's not just about knowing your numbers, which is definitely the first step. And if you're stuck in perfectionism about exact down to the minute, that could be part of what's causing you your problems. I said to someone the other day, so if you go to a showroom, this was for an interior designer, if you go to a showroom and you spend 3 hours and it was over 3 different clients and roughly it felt even to you, okay, an hour each. But if one seemed to take up more time than the other, then sway it that way. I think a lot of you are stuck in that exact perfectionism. You have to be down to the minute when you're charging your clients, and you don't have to be, because it's going to flush out in the end if you're doing this estimating, as long as you're fairly accurate. But knowing your numbers is only part of it, right? So how do you price your services? How do you know what to charge people? First is knowing your numbers of past jobs. But let's say you're new and you're not sure. You have to know your worth also. What value do you bring to people? How much money? Like in my case, it's easy. I can easily tell people I will double or triple your income when you're working with me as a coach. But for someone like an interior designer or perhaps a health and wellness type coach, there's not always a concrete destination. So it's hard for you to relay emotionally what someone's going to feel by working with you. But it's important for you to understand your worth yourself. So know your numbers, but then understand what you actually do for people and feel the value in that is really the second step. And that also, that when you do that, it comes to kind of become natural confidence when you really start paying attention to your worth. And then you want to figure out, what do people actually want? I can't tell you how many programs I've rolled out in the past to 0 people interested, like 0. And I'm like, I spent so much time on it. I figured out a whole new service model, a whole new program, a whole new course. And it happens to you guys all the time. I mean, I see people do it all the time. They bring out a new service model and they go, well, everyone's going to want this. It's the greatest thing. And then you roll it out and it's crickets. Nobody wants it. So figuring out what people actually want in your ideal client circles is important. For an interior designer, some people only offer full service design. They don't offer designer for a day or designer on call because their clientele has never really been the ideal client for those services. But they may also, which is number 4, to figure out what you want for yourself. I mean, some designers don't want to do certain service models. Some coaches don't want to teach in a certain way. They don't want to do one-on-one. They only want to do groups. So you have to consider, what do people want from you, but also, what do you want for yourself? What do you want for your life? What do you want for your balance in your life? Putting all that together, knowing your numbers, knowing your worth, knowing what your ideal client needs and wants from you, and then knowing what you want for yourself, has to all be rolled up into one and figured out over time. And it can be adjusted over time. This is not a destination. This is literally a process, right? Whether it's your coaching services or whether it's your interior design services or anything in between. I coach service-based entrepreneurs. You have to play around with this and tweak it and say, can I put my pillow down? Can I put my head down on a pillow at night and feel good about how much I'm charging my clients and then the service I'm providing? It's a combination. So these, I often leave messages on my business helpline for my clients that it's baby steps. And I see posts in my groups like, well, what do you charge for this? And what do you charge? And how do you figure that out? And then people just adopt other people's models. And then they're on the phone with me on my calendar saying, okay, I tried this system and it's just not working for me, because it's not just about a system. It's about all these other things that I wrote, right? Knowing your numbers, knowing your worth, knowing what your clients want from you, need from you, what you can provide for them that satisfies their needs. And then what do you want for yourself? It's not just taking a course and going, I'm going to copy exactly what this other person is doing, who seems to be doing so well and is ahead of me, because I can't tell you how many people then end up on my calendar and in my groups to try to go, all right, it was valuable what I took and what I learned. And I've never heard a complaint like that something was completely worthless, but I can't seem to apply this to my business because it's different. And I experienced this myself when I first hired a coach. When I became a coach, I hired a coach to teach me how to be an online business coach. And I remember her cookie cutter program. This is how I did it, and this is how you have to do it. It was like, this is how you have to do it. And there was no swaying from any other way. She was only teaching one way. So when I first started going, well, this isn't quite like my style. It doesn't feel right to me. It's not what I want for myself. They couldn't direct me to another method because they only had the one method, right? So this is where I try to go with what you want for yourself, what your clients want, what demographic you're in, how many years you've been doing it. So certainly possible to do it yourself. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but it's okay. I want you to consider the 4 things that I mentioned. And that will help you come to a pricing model that works for your business and for your clients. So I hope that was helpful to someone today. Reach out to me, go to my website. There's resources there for both sides that I coach, coaches and consultants and interior designers. So you can get into more details and help yourself figure this out. So I can't see your name, but it says, yes, ding, ding, ding. They were teaching tactics without helping them understand their business. Yeah, that is a huge problem. I've done it. I get it. And that's why I strive so hard to make my coaching programs standardized, in the sense there's certain things I always teach, but we always add a component where we can help everybody individually. And that's our business helpline or one-on-one with me included in our program, something like that, where we can really dig down to the 4 things I want you guys to concentrate on. So be careful not to adopt someone else's system exactly if it doesn't feel right to you. Get information out of the program that you paid for that is of value to you, because all programs, I've really never seen a program that's completely a waste of time. Most of them have incredible value. But if it's not matching your system, your feeling of running your business the way you want to run it, it's just not working for you. Their systems, their processes, the pricing. If anything doesn't feel right, then go back to the 4 things that I'm telling you to do. Looking at your own numbers, looking at your own worth, figuring out what your clients want and need from you, and then figuring out what you want. And that's going to help you land in a place that feels more authentic to you and brings you the profitability that you're looking for. Because really, it's all about being in business is not just for a hobby. It's to make a living and to turn a profit and to be able to do things in your personal life that you want. So I never perfected this. Okay. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm always playing with my pricing too. It's not something that's ever perfect as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I've been working with some of my clients for years. They just keep making more and more money, and we just keep adjusting their pricing structure, especially because times change also. What people are attracted to change, what's going on in the markets change, what's going on in the world changes daily. So you have to constantly be looking at your numbers and reevaluating where you want to be in order to make this work for you, right? To make it a continuously profitable business, one that you enjoy. You have to always be looking, tweaking, tracking. Okay. All right. So if you need me, reach out. My website is in the description, nancyganzagoffer.com. Thank you all for making my groups amazing. You guys help each other when I can't be there, which is a lot of the time. And I really appreciate all the participation. So ask each other questions. And again, go to my website to get more resources, free and paid, whatever you need. It's there. Talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.